There exists widely diffused throughout nature a distinct group of sexual odours, the so-called capryl odours, which have a natural biological connection with the vita sexualis. These capryl odours, which already in plants play a sexual part, are in animals and in the human species localized in or near the genital organs, odoriferous glands of the beaver, the musk ox, etc., the secretions of the male foreskin and the female vagina, or in other cases found in the general secretions such as the sweat. Recently, Gustav Klein has succeeded in proving that a definite group of glands in the female genital organs must be regarded as a vestige from the time of periodic sexual excitement. At that time, in the human species, as now in the lower animals, the sexual impulse was periodic in its activity, and the secretion of these odoriferous glands of the human female then served as a means of alluring members of the male sex. At the present time, these glands have for the most part lost their significance as specific stimuli. Now it is rather the exaltation from the entire surface of the female body which exercises the erotic influence. Cases in which stimuli proceed exclusively from the male genital organs are regarded by Klein as a phylogenetic vestige of the primitive relations between the rutting odours of the female and the sexual excitement in the male. The sexual life of our time, public domain. Hi, welcome to Scentuality. Today we're going to look at the topic of human musk. Now obviously there's no such oil as a human musk, but we are going to talk about some of the materials that you can use to create an accord that gives you this human vibe. So we're talking about oils which give the impression of sweat, genital secretions, that kind of thing. So if that's something you think you're interested in and something that you are wanting to gain more knowledge in, then please keep watching. Now the first thing we're going to talk about is just a simple accord between musk ketone, raspberry ketone and Veramoss, and this gives you this obscenic female dirty powdered vagina aroma, sort of stereotypical older woman. It's a great accord. It definitely does what it says on the tin, and I really recommend this one. I got this one straight out of a base notes forum, but if you're definitely wanting to create this vagina vibe, then this is definitely one to go for. Isobutyric acid is, well, basically butyric acid is found in the vagina. It definitely replicates a dimension of the vagina. It's described as being sort of like sweat, rotten cheese, etc. It's very similar to hexanoic acid, which to me smells like women's underwear at the end of a long day. That's described as being sour, fatty, sweat. Cheese, definitely an ammonia vibe in there as well. So it's definitely a great material to use if you're wanting to create a more complicated vagina sort of accord. Hop CO2 is very similar. This is a natural, but it has a very similar smell profile. On top of that, it's very yeasty. It's the ingredient used in the production of beer. Here, Absolute is another great material. It's very earthy. It gives you the imagery of barnyards and farms, and you know, there's something very sexual about the smells you find in a barn, on a farm. So another great material to use. Cumin is used to mimic the smell of sweat. I have various dilutions of this, but it's best in lower dilutions. You definitely get other dimensions there. It definitely becomes more floral, but it's a great one to use if you want to mimic the smell of sweat. Castoreum, this is just a fantastic material. Basically smells like genital secretions. It has notes of leather, it has notes of smoke, it has notes of vanilla. It's just a fantastic smell. I just really cannot describe how great this one smells. It's sexy right off the bat. And you can, you know, I would wear Castoreum up by itself. Like, it's a perfume in itself, if you ask me. It's just a fantastic oil. And for some reason, I always get the imagery of cats when I smell Castoreum, despite the fact that it comes from the castor beaver. It's the sexual secretions of the castor beaver. When the castor beaver wants to attract a mate, it releases this sexual attractant. But for some reason, it isn't castor beavers that I think of, it's cats. I just find it very feline. It's a very feline smell to me, which I think, you know, cats and sexuality are synonymous for some reason. They kind of move very sexily. They're just very sexual looking animals, basically. We have valerian oil. Now, valerian oil kind of smells like sweaty feet, which, you know, there's an attractiveness to sweaty feet. If you imagine the sweaty feet of your lover, for instance, it has this intoxicating smell. Now, civet is basically, it comes from the anal glands of the civet cat. It's not really a cat, but it gets called a cat. And it's very fecal, but in low dilutions, it's very floral and can be very, very pleasant. I mean, it definitely does a lot for your perfume if you use a few drops of this stuff, but it, you know, a part of that human musk is a fecal smell. So civet is a great material to use. Lindenol is a really interesting top note for me. It definitely has this sexual vibe. If you think about sort of like foreskin, penis sort of, but clean smelling, but at the same time slightly urinous, sort of stale urine, you get this kind of smell, you know, like a penis musk, and it's not unpleasant. It's very, very pleasant. But I really enjoy lindenol, and it definitely makes me think about sex. So I would definitely put this one on the list of useful oils to use. Now, the last couple of oils on this list are Cresyl acetate, and we have Cresyl phenyl acetate. Both have slightly different smells. I would definitely smell these in dilution because you know, that's where the magic happens. These are very horse themed. You've got horse urine, you've got notes of manure, you have like this general smell of horse itself. And if you're wondering, well, what does a horse have to do with human musk? Well, you know, these smells are very sexual, as I said before, with the smell of a barnyard, the smell of a farm. You know, you've got the smell of various different animals. What else do you have? You have the smell of mud, you have the smell of hay, the smell of straw, you have the smell of manure. You know, you just have all of this going on, and all these things together, they just, you know, create this very, very earthy, very, very sexual animalic smell. And it's definitely to be used in creating a human musk, because at the end of the day, we're all a part of nature. And you know, you can put all these things together, and obviously you can't just put all these things together and expect to smell something that smells fantastic. You definitely have to add some other things in there. You're definitely going to have to add some more floral notes in there, things that, you know, have the opposite type of smell. You have to try and blend them together, but on their own, this is how these oils smell, and definitely some go-to oils to create this sort of human musk accord. You know, some of you might be thinking, what the hell is that? Why would somebody want to create an accord like that? But these are molecules and naturals that are used in perfumery, and they will be in some of the perfumes that you own probably, and you won't even know it. Yeah, some of us are interested in the alchemy of smell. Some of us are really interested in the smell of our biology, and this to me, you know, it just fascinates me. It inspires me. It's part of the reason why I wanted to get into perfumery, because I really wanted to sort of create this smell of sex in a bottle. And you know, I would love you to reach out to me if you have a list of materials that you could add to this list. I will be making a part 2, but these are the oils that I have in my possession at the moment. But if you could suggest other oils to me, I would be really, really appreciative, because it's just something that I'm really, really interested in. And yeah, as I said, it really excites me, really inspires me. So that's it for this video, just another quick one. I'll be making another shortly. So, you know, keep enjoying your Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and I hope you have a good New Year.